In the if-else project, I showed how this very, very complex test with lots of ifs and else clauses and combinations of ands and ors, that test was used to determine which type of character could be categorized as special, number or letter in the ASCII table. Well, that's too complicated, but there's a simpler alternative, and I want to show that now. So this is in the case test project. Now look at this construct. It's a case statement. Now this does the same tests as that complicated if-else batch of blocks of code in the last project. But this time I test the variable I by writing case I of, and then I can include a number of conditions that I has to meet. So if I is anywhere from 32 to 47, and the two dots here are a range marker that indicates a range of values between the start value 32 and the end value 47, or between 58 and 64. So here I've put one range followed by a comma, and in a case statement in Pascal I can put different conditions that the test variable can meet, separated by commas, and then the next one, or between 91 and 96, or between 123 and 255, then a colon, and then the code that needs to execute. So I've assigned special to the string variable. Then there's another condition. If none of that batch of tests evaluates to true, then the next condition is evaluated. If I is equal to anything between 48 and 57, then I assign number to string, and then there's this final one, if it's between 65 and 90, or 97 and 122. Now, if you've come from other programming languages, when you do this kind of test, you'll need to put in break, a keyword called break, after each condition. If you're not familiar with other languages that use break, don't worry about it. All you need to know is in Pascal, when one of these conditions evaluates to true, that's it. The case statement doesn't go and trickle down and examine the other conditions. If you've come from certain other languages and you're familiar with putting in the break keyword, just bear in mind that isn't necessary. Now, there's even a simpler way. And this one down here uses a case statement which has far fewer conditions. Why is that? Well, look, I've noticed that all the complex tests occur in the first part. That's to determine that S should have the string special. So I can rewrite this case statement as saying, well, if it's between 48 and 57, it's a number. If it's 65 to 90 or 97 to 122, it's a letter. Else, in all other cases, it's special. And that's what I've done in this code. So I've done that by using the else keyword. The else keyword is applied optionally within a case statement to mop up any other values. So if the first test, 48 to 57, doesn't return true, and the second test between 65 and 90, or between 97 and 122, doesn't return true, then the else part executes and sets it to special. So the else condition says, in all other conditions, do this. Now, in Lazarus, you'll find some useful help on the case statement. It explains the syntax and gives some examples of how it can be used. In Pascal, you need a simple ordinal value, that's some sort of variable that might have some sequential values. Typically that's an integer, but it could be a character, a char. Okay, I've stuck, for simplicity, to integers in this program, so let's run it. Here again is my ASCII chart. It looks the same, very much the same as previously. So this is using the code up here. This rather complicated case statement generates this code. Now, the code down here, which is simplified and uses the else clause, that executes when I click the button. And this displays the entire ASCII table. So that works just as well, and it's a lot simpler. And if you compare that with the code that we had in the previous project, the one that used all the ifs and elses, you'll see it's much, much easier to understand.